Welcome to Your World. I'm your host, Malaya, and I invite you to this space for women to reflect, learn from the lessons that life gives us while becoming the best version of ourselves. Always remember, it's your world. Go out and get what belongs to you. Hey y'all, Future Malaya here, and as y'all can see, I am getting ready for bed. I told y'all we keeping it real over here. Y'all see my hair not done. It's just a lot going on over here, but we homegirls, so it's okay. But before the video started, I just wanted to say that I was coming down with a cold when I started to film that episode, so my throat was really dry and it just sounds kind of scratchy when I talk a little bit. So just keep in mind your girl was coming down with something if I sound kind of shaky. And also, I noticed my eye contact was kind of like, girl, what are you looking at? But y'all, just give me grace. I told you I got to get used to being on camera and get more comfortable. But like I said, the episodes are going to continue to get better over time and we only going up, okay? Lastly, I do want to add I am still trying to figure out my organization and delivery style. So I know this episode seems all over the place because it was all over the place. But just take everything with a grain of salt, make it make sense to you how you need to. That's all I have to say, and I hope you enjoy. Do y'all notice something different about this episode? Y'all can't see me. Yes, we are going to be transitioning into video episodes. I feel like videos are more personal and you can kind of feel what I'm saying more when you can see me. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about doing videos just because I know I can have RBF sometimes and my facial expressions be looking a little stank. Um, but like I said, videos are more personal, and I see your world reaching a certain point. So we got to get used to being on camera. And I wanted to do it in my sky lounge at my apartment just because, like, the whole setup, like the couches, I don't think y'all can hear that, but there's like noise outside. But anyway, the whole setup with the couch and the plants, like this is giving podcast, is it not? Like, so for our first visual episode, we are in my sky lounge at my apartment just to give myself a new scenery and kind of put it into my mind that like this is the setup that we're going for. Like your world is gonna be given with the couches, and I do have like an actual podcast mic, but I didn't know how it was gonna work with like getting that up here. So I'm using my little mini mic, so hopefully the audio and everything is okay. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to try a new scenery for this first episode. Hopefully it doesn't look awkward with me holding this mic. I feel like it looks more awkward on the shirt, so I'm just gonna hold it. But anyway, y'all know I like to do one good and bad thing for my day. Honestly, it is early in the day, not much has happened, so I'll do one good and bad thing from my day yesterday. Oh, one good thing yesterday was that I tried out a new method for Bible study. I got it from my friend Tamar. Shout out to her. It's called the SOAP method. So you write down the scripture, the observation, like so what you got from it, and then application, how you can apply it to your life, and then you write a prayer. And I tried that for the first time and I really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely going to implement that into my Bible study. And one bad thing from my day was that I get really bad migraines, and I had a bad migraine yesterday, and then I took a nap, took medicine, did not help. I had to go to work and deal with them children, which did not help at all. But yeah, that was one good and bad thing from my day yesterday. But I don't want to ramble much longer. I want to just get right into the episode. I'm going to try to make this video shorter just because this is like a new type of editing for me. So give me grace when it comes to the video as I get used to it. And I want to say this now. I came not barefaced, but I got mascara and lip gloss on and stuff, but I'm not always going to look like full face of makeup outfit on every time I make an episode. One day I might want to record before I go to bed. So just keep that in mind. You're here for the message, not for, yeah. The title of today's episode is Your Environment is Meant to Teach You and Not Define You. And I feel like a lot of people need to hear this because people love to use where they're from as like a reason to justify the way they act, how they act, which, like, yes, your environment definitely shapes you and like teaches you how to move through life or whatever, but you cannot blame You being from Atlanta, you being from Chicago, you being from New York, that you're an asshole. Like I don't agree. And while we talk about your environment throughout this episode, I want you to think about, yes, your physical environment where you live, but also the people around you, the experiences you have, and everything that's like external of yourself. Like, think about all those things when we say environment. The main points we're going to talk about today are why it's important to not let your environment define you and always find the lessons in every situation you're put in, and the importance on being selective and intentional on your environment. I do want to say, as someone who works with kids, your childhood 100% shapes who you are as a person and how you grow up and how you treat people, maneuver through life. Y'all know I used to live in Wisconsin, but now I live in Atlanta. So even these two different settings of working with children, you can tell kids are modeling behavior that they see at home. Kids are smarter than we give them credit for. They remember a lot, and like I said, they look up to the adults in their life, so they're modeling behavior that they see. And so I've seen kids growing up too fast, to say the least. Like, kids are today, yeah, watch what you say and do around these children. That's all I'm gonna say. Also, I do want to say it is so important to be nice to people because you never know what people are going through. Like, truly, just because someone looks put together, they're smiling, they're laughing, you can't see what's going on with them, doesn't mean they're not going through things. I've personally had people in my close circle act like nothing was wrong, but like they were going through the worst things possible. Like, yeah, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. So just be kind to people. Getting into the topic, your environment can create limiting beliefs, and that can happen no matter where you're from. If you're from Chicago, if you're from Atlanta, if you're from Baltimore, if you're from Dodgeville, y'all probably like, what is a Dodgeville? We gonna talk about that. Where you're from can create limiting beliefs if you allow it to. Me being from Chicago, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second. Growing up, I never imagined my life to be even where it is now. Like, I've come so far and accomplished so much that I never expected to, because I just never knew there was a life outside of Chicago. I honestly didn't even know if I was going to make it to 18, make it to 20 years old and going on 21. Like, I'm so grateful to be where I am every day. Like, I thank God that He has blessed me, He's brought me this far, and He is continuing to bring me far. When I was growing up, I never imagined that I would be pursuing a degree, living on my own in another state. I never imagined that I would be taking trips, riding jet skis, ATVs, and just living my life. But like, growing up, when you have certain mentalities and things like engraved into your brain, it makes it hard for you to see anything for yourself outside of what you're used to. I have friends still in Chicago that when I tell them about certain things that I've done, that or certain mindsets I've developed, they like dismiss it, or like they think it's not realistic, or they don't believe that could be their reality. And it's like, you're just stuck in that mindset. Like, you need to get out of that. There's more to the world than what you're used to. But that's why you should allow your environment to teach you and not define you. Like the title says, the space you're in right now, no matter how good or bad it is, the experiences you're going through, the people in your life, they are meant to teach you about yourself, about other people, about the world around you. Don't look at life like a punishment, like, oh, why am I going through all these things? God, why me? If it's not one thing, it's another. Like, why do all these things keep happening to me? You are meant to be finding the lesson in all these things. If you are still going through a situation and you're like, why do I keep going through this? Like, when it comes to men, when it comes to looking for a job, when it comes to growing out of a mindset, whatever, if you are still going through this thing over and over again, it's because God is trying to teach you something that you have not learned yet. You may think you're learning from it, or you understand, or maybe there's something you missed, or maybe you just haven't let go of something. If you're still going through something, maybe look at it from another perspective, or try to make a different decision when it comes to it. Like I said last episode, everything happens for a reason, and God does not make mistakes. He teaches us, He puts us in situations or environments to learn from it and become a better person. How we were talking about your environment can create limiting beliefs, that can also allow people to fall into the victim mentality. One thing I cannot stand is the victim mentality, because, not to sound harsh, but like, everybody goes through things. Like, everybody goes through things, no matter if yours was worse than mine, or mine was worse than yours. We all go through things that like can like break you down if you allow it to, but like it's up to you to change your life. It's up to you to not let this situation overpower you and overcome you. And it's up to you to not be defined by what you go through. And I'm sure we all know someone who likes to blame their circumstances for everything, or they like to blame the people around them that no one's helping them, or they like to just always be the victim. But it's like, okay, respectfully, are you gonna just sit in sorrow, or you're gonna do something to change your circumstance? Yes, this situation could have been a lot for you, very stressful, could have really like affected your mental health. But you can either choose to sit in it and not deal with it and continue to be a victim, or you can decide to take action and change your life. I do want to say too, don't allow your environment to put labels on you. Like, I know when I tell people I'm from Chicago, their first reaction is, "Oh, you kill people. Oh, you do like, oh, you hard body." I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't play with guns. I'm not in the streets. Like all the stereotypes that people like to. I just feel like there's a lot of negative connotation with being from Chicago. And there are some people who like to try to fit a narrative. Like there's some people who are just like me. They're not hard body at all. But when they go to other places, they like to use that, oh, I'm from Chicago, just to scare people. Or I don't know. But like, it's like, nobody cares that you're from Chicago. Nobody cares that you're from Atlanta. Nobody cares that you're from wherever you're from. Who are you as a person? Stop allowing your geographic location to define you as a person. Like, okay, I'm from Chicago, but what does that tell you about me? That can tell you like where I grew up and the stuff I might have been exposed to, or the food I like, or whatever, but like that doesn't really tell you about my character. I grew up in Wisconsin. I've also lived in Iowa because my mom, when I was young, she decided like she wanted a better life for me and for herself. She wanted me to grow up in a safer neighborhood. She wanted me to have more opportunities and stuff like that. So at a young age, we moved. And when we first moved, like obviously as a kid, I was sad. I was leaving all my friends and family. But as I got older, I realized like my mom left that environment because she realized it was no longer serving her. Like she was from Chicago. She had me there, but once she realized like this area, this environment wasn't serving her life no more, she decided to change it, which I applaud her for and am forever grateful for, because if we had not left Chicago when we did, I don't know where I would be. I have a quote from a therapist. Her name is Lori Buchanan, and it says, "What you are not changing, you are choosing." And think about that for every situation in your life. What you're not changing, you're choosing. If you are not changing your reaction, changing the people you hang out with, if you're not changing your mindset, you're choosing to live the way you are. Like I said last episode, you need to put yourself in new spaces, new environments to get closer to your higher self. For example, how I'm here in the Sky Lounge because I want my podcast to be presented with a certain type of production style. I wanted to get to a certain point, so I needed to put myself in that environment, to put it in my brain that like this is the goal, this is what we're trying to aim for. If you want to be a singer, you need to start going to open mic nights. If you want to be a dancer and you have no dance experience, you need to find a little cheap beginner class and start moving your body. If you want to be a fitness coach, you need to be in the gym and doing your own personal training lessons. And whatever it is that you want to do, you need to put yourself in the space to become that person. You can find somewhere that you feel safe and comfortable to escape from the reality of the world, to go to when you get stressed out. I know when I'm going through it, I like to go to the gym, go for a walk, or sometimes I like to sit outside. You can't really see it, but there's a little patio over here. Whatever it looks like for you, you need to find a space that you feel comfortable enough to go to when things get hard or stressful for you, and then also that are bringing you closer to your highest self. Before we get any further, I do want to touch on, I know last episode was about the importance of alone time, and I talked about why everyone should go on a solo trip once a month, but I also want to add to that, taking trips, whether it's by yourself or with a group, or just doing things that you see for your future self, that is engraving it into your brain that like this is a reality that I can live, this is attainable. If you want to live in a nice neighborhood with a big house, drive through nice neighborhoods and look at houses. Like I love, not to sound creepy, but I love like going through nicer communities and like just looking at the houses because it's inspirational to me. I want a house like this, or I like this landscape. I want to make this much money so I can be able to have something like this for myself. I just recently took a solo trip to Myrtle Beach, and there were a bunch of houses on the water, and I was just looking at them like, I want a beach house. Like, when I get rich, I'm going to have me a house on the water to vacation to. Traveling just allows you to see how other people live around the world, and it gives you a different perspective on life and how other people can live and how you could live if you want to. Also, putting yourself in a different environment allows you to see that people are different all over the world. Like, we obviously know that, like, there's still some segregation, I will say, within different parts of the world. Like, I'm in the South, but I'm in Atlanta, so there's a lot of black people where I am. I'm not really exposed to any racism down here. But when I took my solo trip to Myrtle Beach, they were rude, okay? But me being who I am, and I've already been exposed to those type of situations, I didn't let it affect me. It didn't stop any of my fun on the trip. I was still smiling at people and like enjoying myself. You just gotta expose yourself to different situations to be prepared for them. Like, if I'd never been around people like that, it probably would have like affected my mood or like made me feel down on my solo trip, which I wasn't going for that. What I'm about to say might hurt a few feelings, but I don't care. Just because you're somebody where you're from does not mean they're gonna give a damn about you in the next city. People like to walk around with this mentality like, oh, I'm untouchable because I'm from this place. When you leave your area, you're just a regular person to the next town over. Like, I just feel like we need to understand you're not bigger than no program, which I have an episode about that I'm really excited to do because a lot of y'all do think you're bigger than a program. But anyway, I mentioned Dodgeville earlier, and y'all probably like, girl, what is a Dodgeville? But Dodgeville is the small town that I grew up in Wisconsin of about 4,000 people. We had one Walmart, one McDonald's, one of everything. It was really small. A car could drive by and I could probably tell you who it is and where they're going. It was that small. But it was like a hierarchy of last names. Like, if you had this last name, people respected you more, people treated you a certain way, and everyone just treated these people like, oh, I'm supposed to care about you because you have this last name. And I just want to tell y'all, nobody cares that your last name is what it is, or nobody cares that you're somebody where you're from, because when go to somebody else's city and try that with them. You need to be selective on the people you choose to surround yourself with. I know I've talked about this before, but if I see a certain life for myself and I'm hanging out with people that just sit around and want to get high all day, or sit around and chase a man all day, or just do whatever that doesn't align with who I want to become, that's going to reflect on me and slow down my growth. God brings people into your life, whether they're a good or bad person, for you to learn a lesson about them. To some degree, the people you surround yourself with are a reflection of you. So if you find yourself attracting these toxic people, attracting messy people, attracting manipulative people, you need to ask yourself, what about these people interests me? Why am I infatuated by them? Once you find out people are who they are, they're bad people, they're weird, they're slimy, before you react to the situation, you need to ask yourself and ask God, what am I supposed to be learning from this? What is my lesson here? When you do that, you allow yourself to not become your emotions. You feel them. And then once you realize, like, okay, I got what I got from it, now it's time to move on. Just take a look at all of your relationships and just ask, what am I supposed to be learning here? You can't expect to get somewhere if you're not putting yourself in the spaces to accomplish those things. If I want my body to look a certain way or lose a couple pounds, but I'm not getting in the gym or going for walks or doing Pilates or anything like that, do you think I'm getting closer to that Coke bottle shape? No. If I want to start meeting new people on campus, but I'm not going to any campus events, I'm not volunteering, I'm not just sitting out on the green space, you're not going to meet new people, babe. So, whatever it is in your life, if you want to accomplish something or reach those things, ask yourself, am I even putting myself in the space to be able to receive these things? You learn more about yourself when you get out of those familiar environments. I know I have learned so much about myself since I've been living in Atlanta on my own. I've learned new social norms. I've learned how to drive on the highway out here. I've learned about just people in general. And since living here, I've met people from all over the world. And it's just so interesting to me to see how where someone comes from can like shape how they grow up or shape how they behave. But yeah, just get into different spaces and meet different people to get a new perspective on life. Lastly, I want to talk about your internal environment, such as your room, your house, your car, because, like I said last episode, people treat your space how they see you treat it. If people see that you leave trash in your car, they're going to leave trash in your car. If people see that you just throw the dishes in the sink and don't wash them, they're going to add to them dishes. Like, you need to treat your environment how you want people to treat it. I also wanted to add the way you present your environment to people can kind of affect your credibility and how they view you as a person. People won't always admit it, but they are internally judging you, okay? I know I am. Say, for instance, you are looking on TikTok for a recipe for dinner to follow, and you see two videos. Food looks bomb in both, and one of them, her kitchen is a mess, and the other one, her kitchen is clean, organized, everything is labeled. Which video do you think you're more likely to listen to? If I'm constantly saying, I want to be a business owner, I want to own properties, I want to have a successful podcast, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't clean up after myself, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. They're not going to believe you're capable. So, all that to say, the way you present your environment to people can affect your credibility and how they view you as a person. So just be mindful on how you present yourself and your space to people. A clutter-free space equals a clutter-free mind. Your energy, it feeds off your environment. So if your room is constantly messy, if your car is constantly messy, your brain cannot function throughout that. And I did some research. There is something called cognitive overload, which means your brain has to work harder to sort through information and process it because there's just a lot going on in the space. And I can attest to that because I know when my room is a mess, I just feel unproductive. I feel lazy, unmotivated, and like I can't really get much done just because there's just so much clutter. Like I get overstimulated and I can't think straight when there's a mess. I know I mentioned it, I don't know if it was the first or second episode, but we talked about noise. There's physical noise, there's psychological noise, physiological noise, but a messy environment is physical noise that can 100% distract you and interrupt your brain's functions. And I would like to add no shade, but like, how can you expect to do big things if you can't even keep your space clean? Like, you want to own businesses, you want to be investing, you want to be doing whatever it is, but you can't even make your bed in the morning, queen. Like, how does that sound? So, yes, I encourage you to start one step at a time and keep your space clean. I'm not saying like, because I have my days where my room does get messy, but like, don't sit in mess for too long because that can affect your productivity and your motivation. And yeah, just don't do it. Don't do it. The main points I want you to take away from this episode are your environment can create limited beliefs if you allow it to, and there's more to the world than what you're used to. Go out, explore, and see the world, okay? Don't allow yourself to fall into the victim mentality because of where you're from or situations you're going through. You take action and change your situation or your circumstance for you because no one else can do it but you. It's up to you to change your environment that's no longer serving you. What you are not changing, you are choosing. A clutter free space equals a clutter free mind. You cannot expect to be a business owner, to be a millionaire, to be an investor, to be a mentor if you can't even clean your car or clean your room. Y'all, I forgot to do the affirmations, so we're going to do them here together now. And I really hope y'all are actually doing these affirmations because we're not just doing this to be all cutesy. And no, if you want something, if you want to accomplish something, if you want to become someone, you need to put that shit in the universe, okay? So you better be doing these affirmations, girl. My peace is a priority. I radiate positive energy. Did you say them affirmations? Hmm? I believe that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this visual episode, and there will definitely be more to come. I don't know if I will be up here again. I probably will, just because I like this setup, but might be in my room next time, might be somewhere else. We don't know. Thank you so much for listening to Your World. If you made it this far, I love you. And make sure you follow us on all platforms at Your World Podcast. And I will see you next episode. Bye.